Before we get to the movie, it's March, so what better time to talk about Halloween? I've always been searching for the perfect Halloween costume. One that I can just wear year after year and I don't have to think about it anymore. I haven't found it yet. But I think you have, because I've seen photographic proof.
Me dressed up as Francis Buxton's father from Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
Mm-hmm. He eats that hot gum.
Yeah.
How did this come together? Where did the inspiration come from? Did you just happen across a blue jumpsuit?
Everybody goes to conventions and they cosplay and they wear, elaborate costumes of characters from films that they like. And I like Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
And I bet a lot of people knew exactly what you were dressed as.
One guy.
Oh, really?
One guy. I didn't have the monogram,
Yeah.
so maybe that was a little off. I also didn't have Francis Buxton, my son, next to me to help the costume.
Or Pee-wee.
Or Pee-wee.
Yeah, Pee-wee was there.
There was no context. And one guy still got it.
Do you still have it?
I do. It's hanging in my closet.
And it's hanging in the closet of your soul.
Yeah.
Welcome back to the basement, Jason Stevens.
Thank you for having me back, Matt.
Are you a fan of westerns?
I am.
Are you a fan of John Wayne westerns?
Kind of.
John Wayne has only appeared on our show once before, and it was the movie where he played Genghis Khan. Not a great movie, or a great performance, really, but I felt like it was necessary to present old Duke Wayne in the milieu that he shines in, and that is the American Western. So I have a Western here in this envelope, and I may as well just take it out and show it to you. It is the Comancheros.
Oh, I've never seen that. Oh, man. Now, my dad was a huge Western fan.
As was my dad.
In particular, a huge John Wayne fan.
Released in 1961, The Comancheros stars John Wayne, Ina Balin, Stuart Whitman, and Lee Marvin. It was directed by Michael Curtiz, who became terminally ill during the production. John Wayne stepped in and finished directing the film, insisting on not being credited as co-director. Curtiz died shortly after the film was completed. John Wayne's children, Patrick and Aissa, also have small roles in the film, as they did in many John Wayne productions.
Oh.
Those little Nepo babies. What's a staple of any good Western? The gunfight. Well, this gift concerns a gunfight of a different sort.
Deal or Duel?
The Alexander Hamilton card game.
Yes, thank you very much. I have a gift for you as well.
Oh boy!
John Wayne used to smoke a cigarette now and again.
6 packs a day.
And again and again. I know you collect cigarette tins, and I have a Lucky Strike Happy Holidays Christmas tin.
I think John Wayne smoked Lucky Strikes.
Yeah.
Amazing that you would bring this. You didn't even know.
I didn't know. There's nothing in it except some words.
These Lucky Strike cigarettes will commend themselves to your critical approval. The additional toasting process adds to the character and improves the taste of the fine tobaccos. I'm going to start smoking tomorrow. But today, I'm going to go on over to the old leather couch with my friend Jason and watch The Comancheros.
The film, The Comancheros.
Louisiana in the 1800s. Many a gumbo would be eaten. Deal or Duel!
Wow! And it was these two guys, one of whom is Paul Regret.
You would turn and fire on the count of 10.
And bust a cap in that ass.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
9. Ah, darn it. Paul Regret kills the other guy. Unfortunately, that guy was the son of a judge, and so now Paul Regret is a wanted man. Time passes, and we're on a riverboat. And who should be there but Paul Regret, gambling.
Inside, in the six. Yes, it is in your night, sir.
Sir, perhaps about this night you'll have certain feelings. I don't know what exactly the word is to describe them, but you'll wish you hadn't done the things that you had done. I don't know what I'm talking about,
We're talking about misgivings.
Yeah, shake those asses, ladies. Shake them.
Those bustles thumping.
That's what they used to call twerking. Bustle thumping.
He meets a beautiful woman
Named Pilar.
who seems to know a little bit more than she lets on.
I would like a glass of wine.
May I suggest my cabin?
My cabin is full of winos.
He pops the champagne cork off. Hits her right in the head, kills her. We see more wanted posters.
Mr. Regret.
I can't get past that name. That's all I can think of. I'm just thinking about the fact that his last name is Regret. It's weird.
they get a new pope? What just happened? We cut to the morning, and Paul Regret has nobody in bed with him. He's snuggling on a big pillow. Clint Eastwood?
John Wayne would slap the crap out of you if he knew you called him Clint Eastwood.
I'd like to see him try these days. And then in walks Captain Jake Cutter from the Texas Rangers.
Duke, just slide into bed next to him.
Yep.
Give him a little cuddle. Or that, if you like it kinky. Then, I'm not here to judge.
And then he says he's going to take him in. Paul Regret is going to hang for what he did.
You can't do this.
Well, I think if you'll try and get out of bed, you'll find that I can.
I've got what you might consider a weakness.
For Lucky Strike cigarettes.
Step aboard.
What, on this mule?
On the mule.
You gotta get behind the mule on the morning plow. And they ride off.
Along the way there, they find evidence of a settlement that has been raided by the Comanches.
Did you know these people?
Was it the baby's christening?
I wasn't invited. They asked me to leave, but I was there. And there's a bunch of dead people lying around. You can't just leave that, so you gotta bury them.
I hate to do this.
Oh, jeez. And he rides off. Jake rides back to Ranger headquarters, and he's the laughingstock of the place because he let his man get away. But there's something else to occupy him.
I'm sorry.
I just don't cotton to it. Whatever it is, I don't cotton to it. He's a gun runner, and he was going to sell a bunch of guns to these guys who he later finds out are Comancheros, who have allied themselves with the Comanches. And they rustle and do crimes and things like that.
If I'd have just known men like that, I might never have fell in with bad companions.
And never bought this weird-looking hat. Is this going to be the story now? Like, is Paul Regret out of the picture and we're going to focus on this guy and his problems? Is this like the Western slacker?
He's going to go undercover, try to figure out who is selling guns to the Comanches.
And you're sure welcome to use my name, sir. McBain. Ed McBain.
You're a loose cannon, McBain. He goes to Sweetwater and stays at the Sweetwater Hotel. He goes up to his room to find two ladies waiting for him. Ah, the whores.
Hello, ladies. It's me, McBain.
Hoo-cha-cha. It's gonna be a fun time until Tony Crow shows up.
Who's off his nut, and he's a real drunk.
That's some fine kerosene. He's got a little problem with the top of his head, in that some of it is no longer there.
Comancheros, fellas I'm dealing with now.
They start drinking whiskey, and pretty soon they're in the saloon causing ruckuses and messes.
You shoot pretty good drunk.
I don't think that there's anything unusual with the things that you just did.
They punch each other in the face a whole bunch.
Good old McBain, our partner.
Yeah, assaulting me. It's great. Ah, there you go. They're drunk. Can you believe it? Lee Marvin? Glurple, glurple.
Yeah, why don't you and me go someplace where we can have some fun, just the two of us?
We don't have to go anyplace to have fun. We can stay here and I can just slam your head against this potbelly stove.
I'm only as drunk as I want to be, same as you.
But I'm about to be high as a kite as soon as I get this doobie lit.
They see a card game going on in the back of the room. Who do you think is playing cards?
There's Paul Regret. He didn't make it very far.
I'm Ed McBain.
All right.
Crow gets so pissed off because he's a bad gambler.
Just try dealing a hand straight next time around.
No call for that kind of talk, mister.
You better watch your step, brother.
You better watch your step.
Trouble with you is you don't enjoy the game for its own rewards. Stimulation, relaxation.
Masturbation. Jake shoots Crow, killing him. We think that he might come back later in the movie,
I don't think he's dead.
but I won't say right now. And he arrests Paul Regret.
About this time that John Wayne starts referring to him as Monsieur.
This is very uncivilized.
Well, now, Monsieur, that's something nobody ever accused me of.
Except for the French. They run into some of his Texas Ranger buddies. Come on back to Schofield's ranch. Old lady Schofield is having a baby, and we can hang out there because we're all hanging out there.
Monsieur, you haven't got the sense of a jackrabbit. Letting hot horses drink.
Oh, I hope he dunks him in the trough. It's a classic John Wayne move to dunk a guy in a trough.
Oh, yeah.
Who's your prisoner? That's the fella that escaped.
That's Paul Regret. He's no longer my regret.
Here's some fresh water for you.
Oh, that's okay. I'll keep drinking this horse slobber water.
That's sure some fancy shirt. The Ma's got one like that. I never seen none on no man before, though.
You must be one of those city men that smiles at other men. They're just about to settle down to a nice dinner when those Comanches show up with some Comancheros. Oh, we're going to see some grade A horse abuse,
Yep.
Jason. There's a big gunfight. Paul Regret escapes again. But Paul comes back with reinforcements. He doesn't abandon them. Everything is okay, and Martha Schofield has her baby.
I think we ought to name him Regret after Mansour here.
No, please don't. It's a terrible name. Trust me, I've lived with it for years. Don't name a child Regret. They name it Regret.
Regret Schofield. Sounds nice.
So with these Comancheros raiding, they need to go around to the settlers in this area and relocate them into town so they're safe. Jake goes to this ranch that he knows.
Where's your mummy?
There's this woman there named Melinda, a beautiful blonde lady.
Hello, Jake.
This is Mansour Paul Regret. How do you do?
I'm American. I'm not French.
Isn't this a wonderful surprise, Mommy?
And I've got a surprise for you, Bessie.
Slap. Paul asks Jake, hey, why don't you marry her? And Jake says, I'm married to my work. So with all this good stuff that Paul Regret is doing, Jake doesn't want to see him hang anymore.
Let him make a run for it, I say to myself.
And then what would you say?
And then I say back to myself, you can't let him run. He swore an oath.
And then I say to myself, you should assassinate the president. I got the schizophrenia. So they go to a judge.
This is Mansour Paul Regret. How do you do?
Not French. I don't know where he gets this from. And they try and figure out a way to get around these charges that have been levied against him.
But there ain't no way to do this legal and honest.
They decide to lie.
They're gonna all commit perjury.
They say that Paul Regret is a Texas Ranger and he's been in Texas for the past 2 years, so he couldn't have murdered someone in Louisiana.
Suppose these rangers start talking, you know.
You know the Texas Rangers are gossipy bitches. The Texas Rangers are liars. It's all here in this movie.
Honest Ben Breen.
Ah, corruption. Ha
They're going to go undercover again. They're going to pose as gun runners, and when the Comanches see them, they're going to take them to the Comanchero camp. So they'll find out where the secret camp is, and they'll infiltrate it.
So Captain Cutter and Paul Regret make their way into the Comancheros' hideout. They got the rifles hidden in the wagon.
They took out all the firing pins, so if they steal the guns, they're useless. But that doesn't really work.
But before we kill you, we're going to string you up for a while.
Water.
Well, this ain't water, this is clam chowder. But someone sees them. It's Pilar. She says, cut them down immediately.
Oh, the top of my head feels like an overdone pancake.
I'd think the top of your head would feel like a French crepe, Monsieur. You gotta come and meet the leader of the camp.
You go, my friends.
The guy in the leather vest really needs to do this.
Gentlemen, you come among us uninvited. You say your name is McBain?
Ed McVeigh.
Pretty soon you will be dead, McBain.
They offer us a continuing supply of up-to-date weapons.
And Paul Regret will knock my boots.
I tell you, she has a personal interest in this man. That is why she urges us to deal with him.
Wheelchair
In the Old West.
His assistant's name is...
Gordo.
Come on, why do you got to call me fat?
This group of Comanches are coming in.
And as the bullets rain down, gravity is discovered.
It's Chief Ironshirt and his men. So now it's time for a big celebration. Pilar talks to Jake. She knows that he's a Texas Ranger because she saw him at the riverboat when he came on to arrest Paul.
Well, you're the coolest character I ever met.
You're a boss chick. Paul and Jake hatch a plot to escape.
Mansour, I don't think you better put...
I'm not French!
Paul, there's
Some kind of mouth disease I have, and it's very communicable.
Gordo?
Take me down to the dancing. I want to remember what it's like.
Gordo, give them some refreshments.
Imagine if you were someone's assistant and they just said, Hey, do this thing for me, fat. Fat, come over here.
Unless I let your man kill him and stay here with you like I'm a crow. That's a French word.
I
meaning-
know what the French word means, mon cher.
He is French! Paul tells Pilar that he loves her. He wants to take her away from this. Jake gets himself a gun by doing this.
Oh, that's sensual.
That's too intimate. Way too intimate.
Oh, that's very intimate.
Papa,
Yes?
I'm going away with Paul.
Gordo!
Fat! Fat smash! I see you have bested my fat. The enemies find out that they're escaping. They chase after him.
Quick to Donner Pass.
There's a big fight. So much guns going off.
And then the Texas Rangers show up and they clean up the rest of the thing.
Well, Monsieur,
You showed real esprit de corps back there. But Pilar and Paul are together. And at the end of the movie, I know who's feeling a lot of regret. It's the Comancheros. Comancheros. It sounds like a racist breakfast cereal. Kind of a complicated and a bit confusing plot.
I wondered if there was some subtext that got pulled out of the edit, because there were moments where I was really confused and I thought I missed something.
And it could be that we missed some subtleties because we were talking and joking and goofing off. But I did feel like there were a couple key things missing, along the way. Essentially, it's a bit of a spy movie. They're breaking up this crime syndicate. It's not your typical stuff that you see in Western movies.
It didn't feel like a complete movie from beginning to end to me for some reason. Maybe because there was something that I didn't catch. Knowing that the director fell ill during the making of this movie and then John Wayne took over, I was trying to figure out at what point that happened, if I could tell in the course of the film. And so maybe that was in the back of my mind. Like, that was maybe part of the reason I felt like I was a little lost.
Someone else came in and kind of helmed the ship.
Right.
And who knows if John Wayne, was like, well, we're behind schedule. Let's cut these 3 pages.
Yeah.
Let's go down the principal actors here. John Wayne, I think he did pretty much what he does, and he did it well.
He John Wayne'd it up.
Yeah, he definitely did. Stuart Whitman played Paul Regret.
Yeah.
What did you think of him? I've never seen him in anything else.
I liked him.
Did you?
I believe he died just like maybe 5 or 6 years ago.
Okay. I thought he was fine. Wasn't really blown away by him. Wasn't really blown away by his good looks. Wasn't really blown away by bold acting choices.
No. I don't think you get to have bold acting choices in a movie with John Wayne.
When you're second fiddle to John Wayne.
Unless you're Lee Marvin.
Right, exactly. I could see your impulse that, like, oh, Lee Marvin's not dead yet.
I think he's going to show up later with a bandage on his belly.
The fact that he was gut shot. I was like, yeah, I think he's dead.
Did he serve his place in the plot? Is the other thing. I didn't really ask myself. Like,
not really.
No, that movie could have happened without him. Really,
he was there to establish the tension for when Jake met Regret again and had to maintain his cover. That is a really good scene because of that, and so you had to have one of these Comancheros there to do that.
Okay,
I think that's the only purpose Lee Marvin served in the movie, except to be Lee Marvin,
right,
and to be interesting to watch and to listen to. But plot-wise, I think it's just that one thing.
Yeah.
I should mention that this DVD was sent by a generous viewer, and now we watched it on the show, so thanks for sending it in. So there's a word in this movie that I've always had an issue with. I don't even like to say it.
It doesn't make a tinker's damn who's got the upper hand.
Tinker. Word makes me nervous. Tinker. I have a particular association with it because when I was growing up, that was my mother's word for penis.
Really?
Yes. If you were walking around without pants, she'd say, put your tinker away.
Oh, my.
And so whenever I hear that word, that's what I think immediately.
Penis. Put your penis away.
And I think when someone says it, I feel like they're looking at my penis.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite John Wayne movie?
The one I remember watching with my dad, and that is The Cowboys.
Oh, yeah. He's got a bunch of kids that he works with? Yeah.
Teaches them how to be cowboys.
Yeah. I liked his last movie, The Shootist.
I did like that, too.
With Ron Howard. All I remember is that there's a scene with Jimmy Stewart. Jimmy Stewart plays an old country doctor.
Yeah.
And he basically tells him he's going to put his fingers up John Wayne's ass.
Yes, I remember that too.
And then you see it all. They showed it all, folks.
Now, just careful now. You're going to feel a little pressure.
The Comancheros have rustled their last dogie. And now we are going to ride on over to a little farmstead we like to call Seen It.
Seen It.
Himself, 666, writes, Bottoms was one of my favorite movies last year, a comedic, hyper-exaggerated version of High School. Seen it?
Seen it!
At first I thought it was the teen lesbian Porky's.
Yeah.
And then I thought it was the teen lesbian Revenge of the Nerds.
Yeah.
I settled on the teen lesbian Superbad.
All of those things are true. But what I really loved about it was how far into absurdity they went.
Yeah.
I was really impressed with Marshawn Lynch.
I don't know if he still plays football, but he should give it up and just do acting. His instincts are impeccable. Something I'd like you to read. It's right there in the middle of the page.
Jason Stevens. Me? Did I write this?
Yep.
I did. I just watched Rebel Moon. It has glimmers of a cool story, but most of the storytelling is exposition and flashback sequences. Anthony Hopkins delivering the opening dialogue made me imagine him standing in front of a mic reading words that clearly had no context or meaning to him, but he Anthony Hopkinsed them to the Anthony Hopkins max. There are likable characters in the fleeting moments we see some of them, but they don't have much depth. It has some nice visuals, but the fake beards made me laugh out loud on several occasions. It was just bad. I'm Zack Snyder, and I wrote this entire cinematic universe bad.
I haven't seen it, and I have nothing to add. Sean Henry writes, The Holdovers. Alexander Payne directs Giamatti again. Quiet, funny, profane, and moving. If I could have watched it again immediately after it finished, I would have done so. Seen it.
Seen it!
I think I would have done the exact same thing. My favorite movie of 2023.
That is a common sentiment among my friends.
It's a story about being stuck in trauma. That's what they're holding over. They're not holding over the holidays. They're holding over because they can't get out of this part of their life that they have become mired in. Their expression of their trauma is so simple and unmelodramatic. Giamatti in the one scene, he's like, yeah, my dad used to beat me. He just says it, and they move on. Even the alcoholism of the two characters.
Yeah.
It's not a thing because it's not the thing. It's a symptom of their problem. It's not their problem.
Right.
I just think it's a small story, it's a simple story, and it's a quiet story.
Yeah.
And it also feels very lived in and comforting and comfortable.
Yeah.
But not in a complacent way. And it was weird. They have these kids, this group of kids, and they start to establish relationships between them.
Yeah.
And then they all disappear.
I know! Are they coming back? Rob Matsushita writes, just rewatched Beverly Hills Cop, and it held up pretty well.
Seen it. Hi, Rob.
I was 10 years old. My dad said to me, I will take you to a movie for your birthday, whatever movie you want. And somebody at school told me that Beverly Hills Cop had a lot of swearing in it, and you got to see some boobies. And I said, Dad, I want to see Beverly Hills Cop. And there wasn't any internet back then, and my dad didn't look shit up, so he took me to see Beverly Hills Cop. And he sat next to me, and the first 10 minutes of that movie had more F-bombs than I'd heard my entire life. And he turned to me, and he said... and, he didn't take me to any more movies after that.
There are so many quotes from this that I quoted forever after I saw it. I went through all of the 90s saying, he's not sexy, he's animal. To the point where I forgot where it came from.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go to our website, check it out. You can watch some old episodes. You can click on the PayPal donation buttons and make a one-time or rolling monthly donation to support this show. If you like this show, please consider it. Even a little bit per month is greatly appreciated. I want to talk about a one-time donor who is very generous. It's Sarah. She says, it's been a while since I've been able to donate. Life has really thrown me some curveballs. But this show, this channel, had brought me more comfort than I can honestly put into words. Thank you so much for all of your hard work. Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you, Sarah.
And I also want to shout out two new monthly donors from this past month. Grace from Florida and Ron from Pennsylvania. Jason will be back next week for some unboxing. We've got a bunch of boxes to open, and we're going to have some fun, so we hope you'll join us for that. And now, check this out.
Looks like this little fracas is about over. I'll take that gun now.
This is my post-fracas policy, to reallocate all the guns back to my person.
Gordo!